fuck? It's going good. It's going real good. Do that. That's good. Really? Yeah, it's nice. Whatever. It's a good start. Real good start. Real good. Real nice. Okay, I gotta crank through this because it's a big fly. Anyways, if you didn't catch it on my channel, what are you guys doing? Hop to my channel at 6:30. I do all this stuff before. Now I gotta... Remember that one time it didn't turn off? Ooh, it's a little rickety-rockety. We'll see. I said I was gonna use my Sony this week. I'm not, clearly. You hear the beep, 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 beep. The fucking thing sucks. Next week I will. I'm gonna work on it tomorrow. It's not like it's a housing project. I just turn it on and I've got this little thing that overwrites the timer. Not important. This week, yard sale. Ta-da! Look, there it is. Okay? It's a big fly. It's a Tiger Musky fly. Yes, already, David. I know it turned off. Okay? Oh, no. Not already. There's the team. Just supporting as ever. Yeah, I don't know why. It fucking hates me. It hate me. But we're doing a Tiger Musky fly, okay? Yard sale. It's got a rattle. It's got 2 hooks. Blah, blah, blah. Couple quick things right off the top. Again, if you go to my page earlier, I talked about it. February 17th, fly fishing film tour. We're having a pre-party at the shop, 3 to 5 p.m. Fly tying contest, woolly bugger in hand, casting contest, something easy. Bunch of prizes. SA, Loon, maybe Sims, G Loomis, Hairline. We're going to do a bunch of shit. We might rent a shuttle bus, shuttle everybody to the Loudon Theater so you don't have to drive. And drive back. You don't have to find parking. It's going to be awesome. Also, a pre-party at the Bear Paw. I just have to call them. So if anybody that works there is watching, I'm sorry. This is happening, hopefully. First 50 people we're trying to line up. Beers on us. Not beers. Can somebody that knows electronics? I thought I did. So, like last week, it turned off once. And then it kept recording. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And like the screen, like I touched the screen, like, get out of here, screen. The screen went black, and then it's like, we're good. Didn't move any of the settings. I'm getting up here. I am right here. And I was here, but now I'm back up. And I want to be kind of like right here, but I'm fucking here. If it goes off again, sorry. I might press restart. I don't want to, though. Anyways, we're trying to work something out with first 50 people at the Bear Paw that just say, hey, Northwest sent us, bingo bango, you get a free beer. We'll see if that happens. Anyways, let's get into it. Tiger Muskie. Why am I tying this fly? Because I need them, and I'm not going to have time later in the winter or spring. So this is actually one that gets them. There's other flies that I tie that they also get them, but this one really gets them. And you can time, do it, GoPro. I dare you. Turn off on me. Do it. I don't need to get mad at inanimate objects. That's not something to do. Here we go. 5/0. Spinnerbait hook. Gamakatsu. Good shit. That's the rear hook. It's also, guess what? The front hook. So pop it in whatever vise of choice. I do love the Renzetti over the Regal just because when it rotates, it's straight. And the Regal's got some weird thing. I know Schulte has one that goes forward, but I don't like the clamp thing. I like this better. And these are the game changer jaws, so you can, it also fits tiny little 10 millimeters as well as a 6/0, so it's great. And I hit Renzetti up. I'm like, hey, you guys want to work with us for Friday Night Flies? Radio silence. Shocker, because no one watches this. So they're like, get fucked. Understandable. Veevus 150 GSP gel spun. It's great for this type of stuff because you can kind of reef it down. And we're going to be reefing some shit down. So just thread base it to the back. Try to rip this off like they do. Fucking cut through your finger. And then, you know me, I'm always just like, hey, let's reinforce the shit out of everything. Even the first thread wrap. That's fine. A little bit of Zap-A-Gap. Colby's not here. He has mono. I'm just kidding. He's just not here. In the middle of the boat parade. Sorry, I can't focus on flying and where I'm going. In the middle of the boat parade. I don't know what's happening. Oh, yeah. And also we're doing a huge flotilla after the fly fishing film tour on the Monday. So it's like the 19th. We're going to float the Sandy or the Clackamas and Yeah, just everybody's bringing their boat. We're all going to float down. We're going to have a bunch of food at the end of the float. We all get to grub on. I'm going to stop at the end of the day somewhere the last gravel bar. You know, free spay clinic. Ooh, free, whatever. I'm okay. I can throw it sometimes. And whatever questions you got about steelheading or spay casting, I will try to answer. Stump me. I dare you. Not really. So that's going on. Okay? We covered it all. GoPro, turn off. Oh, God, is it voice commanded? Is that what's going on? Nope, it worked. Okay. You got the thread base, almost fucked up. Kind of a key to a lot of bigger articulated flies. If you really want them to glide, like a big walk the dog rather than just like erratic shit that doesn't do anything. Well, not that doesn't do anything, but you can't make it do what you want to do. The rear of that fly needs to be kind of heavy. So I got 0.2-aught lead wire. And don't tie it on top up here. Tie it like on the bend. So just kind of thread wrap it right there. And you don't, really? We're going to do that right now? And you don't want to reef on this stuff because it's pretty soft and this thread will cut through your lead wire about like, I don't know, halfway to 2/3 down the bend of that hook. And I used to think like, oh man, that's going to impede with the hookup ratio on the fish. You're not going to strip set anyway, so who are you kidding? You're not going to strip set. So it doesn't matter if you've got 6 treble hooks back there. When you lift, because you're a trout fisherman, because you live in Oregon, you're never going to hook that fish. So don't worry about it. But if you do happen to, I don't know, scare yourself and you strip set or you start to just learn how to do it, and I'm not saying I'm great at it. I'd probably trout set one every 5 times. I'm still not dialed in. I suck. But if you do strip set, yeah, there's no issue. A lot of the flies last season had this keel on it, and we hooked plenty of fish. So, but what it does do, it impedes a lot. Impairs? I don't know. My vocab sucks. It makes it go side. It gives it action that it doesn't if that rear hook isn't weighted. So there you go. Hot tip. Weight the rear hook. Okay. And you could probably put like one of those little Scud tungsten weights back there, but that's almost too much weight. So, you know, something like that. Then you wrap back. And this little chunk or whatever, just get your shitty scissors that you got and cut it off. Throw it into the shackle room. Then again, soft wraps around this stuff because you don't want to pull too hard because, like I said, you'll cut through it and kind of defeats the purpose. So, kind of overdo it, but whatever. I don't want it to come off after I tie this fly. Take an hour to do it. And then, yeah, I go a little bit further and I use the Pro Sport Fisher UV Cure here. This is going to go real well tonight, I can tell. I can't talk. And nothing new. I don't like the SolarRex on this stuff. I know some guys like Schultze likes it. So, you know, if you want to take it off, you can. This is not going off. It's never getting taken off. I want it on there forever. So that SolarRex stuff, it's just a little too soft. This one's not fully powered up. Yeah, we're talking. It's not, it's too soft. Whereas the UV Pro Sport Fisher stuff, it's like fucking cement. Like when that thing goes, when it locks, what in the fuck? We're gonna have some issues today. It's on there. It's not going anywhere. Good? Would go rad with the UV light. Would go rad with the UV. I don't know what's happening with that. 56 minutes. It's not gonna happen. But see, I don't like how loosey-goosey this is. Why don't you... What did I do that you won't do what I want you to do? Whatever. So, you want like... We're gonna kind of tent this rear with some saddle hackles. So just some bucktail. And, I don't know, an amount. You don't need to get a bunch. This is just kind of to protect the... That's like kind of too much. That's just to kind of protect the Schlappen that we're going to put on there, or saddle hackles, where it's Schlappen. And then you just do one of those, kind of square them off. It's like that long. So a little longer than the 5/0 hook. Yeah, that's good. And you don't want it to flare. So like loose wraps all the way back to the rear of the hook, just loose, and then maybe forward halfway, and then kind of reef down that other section. And look at that, just stay straight. Where's Colby? He's got mono. So, and then Zap-A-Gap, of course. Everybody's requesting to be in this video. I don't think they know how that works, and no shade thrown on you because I didn't know how that works. If I say yes, you're going to pop up halfway in the screen. Like it's going to be half me, half you. My buddy Sturza did that. He's older, and he popped up and he was just like looking at the phone, and it was really funny. We don't need to do that. Okay. So get some good Schlappen or rooster saddle or whatever. And I get 2. It's 1, 2. Kind of similar if you can, like ones that are just next to each other. And cut all this bullshit off, the fluff, then pull it off just like you do with marabou. This is a real rough one. Like typically I'd take some more time and really look at it. Does it matter? Probably not. Okay. So you got kind of like, that's what it looks like. Just 2, I'm holding both of them. And get it about the length of that. What's that shit called? Bucktail. Again, kind of some light wraps and then reef it down. That's what that GSP is for. You can really, oh, never mind. Got fucked. Look at that one. Tweaking all up like that. Good start. I'm never going to make the hour. Not even close. And it's probably stuck on that Zap-A-Gap. Good. We're good. It's good. It's good. Okay. Well, there we go. I'm just going to place that one if I can. Up that Zap-A-Gap. Let's see if I can get it this time. Oh my God, I'm going to get you. Not exactly how I want it. But you know what? That's okay because that's what SolarRex is for. To make shit work. Good enough. Okay. The reason the Musky didn't eat your bug wasn't because one feather was oddly different than the other one, I promise you. These are bigger, but I like them. So these 2, mono, the kissing disease. Yeah. Aliki definitely gave it to him. So same thing. Cut that off. Lay them on top of each other. Peel some of that bullshit off. Ta-da. Number 2. Are we seeing that? Fantastic. You do want these pretty much the same length though, so don't get all crazy with that. Wrapping. Look at. Okay. That's not super tight, but it's right there. Okay. This, get out your, this is looking real good. Look how gnarly that is. This, it does get a little gross up there, but that's what bibs are for. Somebody asked me the other day, like, why are you always wearing overalls? And I mean, I like them, but, and I think I answered this last week. I was like, it hit me. It's like, because they're like waders. I'm in waders so much that you just jump in these, right? I'm not trying to impress anybody. I live by myself. I got 2 dogs. They don't fucking care. They can jump on me, mud, all that stuff. They appear somewhat clean. I think I've washed them once, you know? Get this stuff and put it kind of, I do the first one kind of in between the 2 on top, just a little bit. You can kind of paint it in there and kind of squeeze it together and kind of let it ride up the top right there. And what that's going to do, hopefully, uh-oh, don't do that. There we go. What's going on here? It's just going to hold those guys together, which is what I want. And then kind of down the stem. I do this because I watched James Hughes do it with this flea and cray. I was like, oh, that's nice. It keeps the like half the feather stiff, and durable because muskie have mass teeth, but the ends still move really well, which is what you want. I mean, people beat the absolute piss out of these flies, and the fish do too. So if you want them to last, do this. So just kind of like that. Is this a different light? Yep, that one's dead. Some people, why do you have multiple lights? Because I forget to charge them. Okay? Just like that. I like when you squeeze it together. Sweet. That sounded sexual. Nice. Let's get it. Now the other side, okay? Just straight down the stem, about a third of the way. You could do more or less. I don't know. Play with it a little bit. See what you like. But it definitely helps the durability. And I think the movement a little bit, to be honest. Because that's bright. Because it's stiff and then the end's just kind of like wiggle, wiggle, whatever. It works. That one's a bright light. That one's been charged lately. So yeah, we got kind of our knife tail. Now we're going to get Polarflash. Why do I hold it up like this? I've been doing something like, yeah, hey, first of all, it's backwards, so you can't see it. You can on the GoPro, but whatever. If you don't know what Polarflash is and you're watching this tying video, I got bad news for you. Out of your league. And get an amount. You know, it's supposed to be a minnow. I don't know, however many looks good to you. You could taper it if you want. I don't know if it matters, but pull a little out of the middle. That's fine. And you want it to go, I like it to go just a little bit. This is a shout out Jeff Arnold. A lot of his flies, he's like, you got to get the flash just beyond the tail. Again, does it matter? I don't fucking know. But I've just been doing it so long that way that I can't stop. And I won't stop. So there. Tie it in. You can cut the ends off here if you want. I just like to really lock them in. And it goes back about the same amount. That wasn't planned. There we go. Trying to tie a fly in an hour, musky fly in an hour, and read comments. Somebody hates Polarflash. Oh, it's Robert. Why do you hate Polarflash? It's awesome. Same thing here. I don't want the Polarflash to go this way and this way when I'm stripping. So don't do that. Uh-oh. So I just get this SolarRex in about, I don't know, a couple inches, whatever. Just enough to where it keeps it on there. And it can move back here if it wants or whatever. Okay? If you want, you can put a rattle in there in the rear. I think Eli's brother does. I really should have known his name or looked up his name before I started, but I didn't. I did not. So I have the lead back there. I'm not going to put the rattle back there. I might not even put a rattle in it. And then we use, where's the main shit? Here we go. This stuff's awesome. Jeremiah Hool turned me onto this stuff. Flash and Slinky. It's great. You can do a bunch of flies with this stuff, except it gets messy quick. God, I don't want, whatever. Sometimes I try to like do a little cut there, but if you don't go all the way from the top, it doesn't really work. So I just put a little slit in there, and you try to just pull a little bit out. You're gonna use a bunch of this stuff, but a little goes a long way because it's rather long. So I try to hold the back here. See, it's not wanting to do. Oh, okay, there we go. Wasn't too bad. And with a lot of flies, less is more. You don't need a bunch of bulk, but you do want to taper it a little bit. You don't want to just totally square, right? And I forget if I reverse tie this in or just tie it in the back. I think the first part I just tie in. That's what we're going to do at least. Just to kind of cover it. And you can kind of get your thumb and wiggle it to each side. Like I said, it's not overly complicated. Then I get the other side that's looking like rat shit and not use it. And then flip it around and use this stuff. Taper it. Just a little bit. That's going to go on the bottom. Either the same length as the top. It's a lot of Schlappen. Or even a little bit shorter if you want. kind of split it around that hook. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of get some stuff that covers it. And you can either split it around or use your thumb, whatever you want. That's good. More Zap-A-Gap. I feel like I'm on like a fucking contest right now. 45 minutes? Fuck, I gotta get this half done at least within 30 minutes. Okay. More Flash and Slinky. No one say anything. Great. Perfect. Keep it up. Probably because people are like, fuck this fly. Why isn't he tying it? Elk hair caddis. Well, that's not good. That's not good. Okay. So maybe a little bit thicker. Taper that stuff. That's not a good taper. It's an okay one, not great. And this stuff we're going to start to reverse tie in. Which just means, you guessed it, put it here, flip it back on itself. And this is just going to be on the top. And you can kind of space it. You don't want it like packed right in, like one after another after another. A, because it makes your fly really bulky and harder to cast. And B, having it spaced like that kind of has some air, it breathes better. I think it moves better. Okay, here we go. So, that's about right. You don't really want it to cover, the previous wrap. This one kind of does, but that's okay because that's just kind of the rear section. Spread it out a little bit. You can either do a thread dam here, or this is what's good about this stuff. You can really reef on it. So I barely went over the top of that fold to lock it in, and then a couple good wraps in front. And then you guessed it, more Zap-A-Gap. Just tap, 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 tap. Not a ton. It's kind of the same process over and over going forward on this hook. Like I said, it's not incredibly difficult. It's more about like the proportions and getting the taper right and stuff. But and then the head is pretty important too. How you kind of design it and sculpt that. But my God, I've got a pink one of these that I tied in all pink. Buddy Blaine's always like, yeah, pink is a great musky color. I only fished it like one day last season. And I think it was the last. Yeah, it was the last day, or last day that I guided out there at least. And I wish I would have fished it sooner. We didn't catch a fish on it, but it was by far. And when I tied it, I was like, it didn't really come out great, but it came out all right. Dude, this thing like glided 12 to 16 inches, just one, like kind of not slow, but it wasn't a quick strip. It was this gradual strip with a little pop at the end, and it would come straight and just kick and just kick. I mean, it looked like a hard bait, and that got me very happy in pants. So I'm trying to mimic that going forward with these flies for the rest of this next season, because they're going to eat the shit out of that. Okay. Somebody said, yeah, I already drank his margarita, said he needed to sober up. I don't know who you're talking to. Shocker, guys. Spoiler alert. It's just bubbly water. Sorry. Okay. So, again, more Flash and Slinky. I'm not going to worry about this bullshit here. That sucks. I'll do something with that later. Because I want the good shit. Okay? So, like, whatever, that amount right there. Pull it. I mean, this shit goes everywhere. It's not that expensive. How much is it? Never mind. It's $10. And you're going to go through it. Whatever. Don't tie this fly then. If you get your shit and the taper is good, but like look how skinny that is, drives me nuts. I need more material than that. So sometimes you just got to pull it out, line it back up with the rest of it until it is somewhat thick again. And if it doesn't, like it's doing, fuck it. And just cut it right off and do it again. Yeah, see? There we go. Now we're talking. Still not great. Still not loving it. Okay, that's better. And a reverse tie it. This time we're going to go a little bit more forward. Put that guy in. Wrap that. What I should have done in the last one is done this and then done the bottom one and then folded them back over at the same time, but I haven't. I can't see shit. It's all dark over here and light over here. That's how light works. And I should have put this one on top. Fucker. Should I do two? No, stick with it. Stick to the plan. So, flip it and reverse it. And just, you know, a couple wraps. Make sure it's centered. Here you can get, you know, a hollow Bic pen if you want, or you can buy one of those expensive tools if you want. I don't. I just go boop. Come on. That's good. Perfect. And then one little wrap over. Let's take a look at that. I don't like it. So we're going to do a thread dam here because I want the taper to be a little bit higher. And when I wrapped over that material, it just squashed it. But you can see, like, there's some separation, right? You can actually see between those. Well, you probably can't see shit. I'm on a goddamn iPhone. Well, yeah, you can. You can see the space right there. Almost like a beast fly. If you've seen those beast flies, I tried to tie one years ago when I was even worse than I am now at time. And it didn't go well. But those things are very cool. Very airy. So that, yeah, I'm happy with that. You want some separation? You got the separation. And you guessed it. More zap. What are we at? 8 minutes? Oh, it's going to be tight. Okay. I got fucked up from that last flash and Slinky. So get some thread all the way to the front. Why? I don't know. Just so it grips or whatever people say. Okay. This doesn't look great. This goes in the I'll deal with it later pile. Maybe I shouldn't have taken this whole thing out. Okay. We're good? We're good. Okay. Getting it again and just doing the little pinch and pull to get the taper, right? Looks pretty good. That one went well. Cutting it. And I'm going to tie this one. I'm trying to think if I want one more. I'm just going to, for time's sakes, and, you know, sometimes a lot of the flies that I tie end up being better when I try something new, but not always. So this time, instead of doing 2 wraps, 2 more clumps, I'm going to have a lot of separation, and I'm going to just put 1 last clump in there instead of 2. And we'll see. I'll let you know next summer. Hey, this shit worked better. Do this. Or, hey, don't do that. It totally sucked. So that's what I'm here for. Spend all my money on fly tie materials, tie flies that don't work. Okay. Second clumpage. I like that. And I'm spinning this. It just puts an edge on that GSP. It just grips better. Okay. Get out your fancy tool. Get some tequila, anybody. I mean, I've got some soda water here. Also, that's not going to help this process. I got to get the shit done, man. Okay. So once we get that one, thread damming it up, which if you aren't familiar what a thread dam is, it's basically what it sounds like. It's a dam made out of the thread. So you kind of wrap and you wrap up, you wrap a bunch of times, you wrap down. You kind of get this kind of cone feature going, and that just holds back the materials. And you can kind of tweak the, see, that was too much. You can tweak the taper based on how high and far back you wrap. The problem with this guy is that this guy on the bottom is further back than the other one, but it's okay because I'm going to fix it right now. Not by doing that, by just adding a tiny little itty bitty clump. Just a teeny tiny clump. Maybe. This might not fix it also. Let's see. I'm just going to put that guy there. Let me get this here. I'm going to spin that. I'm going to wrap that in. I'm going to fold this back so I can get in there. My scissors. Cut that bullshit. Better. There we go. Kind of fan it out if you want. Okay. The biggest part is going to be up front anyways. Spin to win. Get your whip finisher, or if you're fancy and can do it with your fingers, congratulations. That guy's getting cut. More Zapagat. So that's the rear. You could probably fish this. I've seen Willen do this. You get a fish coming in hot after your fly, turns off. Cut that rear hook off and fish that. Just a little mini guy. A little big deceiver almost. So that's the rear of the fly. Looks pretty good. Okay, let's see, people are still requesting videos. So typically I use this stuff that my buddy Willen turned me on to. It's like 44, what is this? 65 pound, like hardcore wire shit. Well, I ran out. So I'm just using some Senyos laser wire. So this will probably break when I hook a fish, but maybe not. We'll see. I've got some 50-pound braid too, but I think this is like, has a long, like the longevity is better. But we'll see. So I'm going to get some of that. Come on. Cut it. Thread it up. Well, actually, thread these little beads. You can get, you probably can't see it. It's just tiny, like, you can get this thing off of Amazon for, I don't know, like $1 or $6 or whatever. I use 3. You can use however many you want, but that seems like a good separation for me. And sometimes I use red ones, like a blood red, so maybe it looks like it's bleeding. I don't know. I kind of want the all white one this time. Where's that? There. I don't think it makes too big of a difference. And just go up through the eye. And where'd you go? There you go. And then back through all 3 of these. Which I know you can't see anything because my fucking fingers are in the way, but trust me, that's what's happening. Not that one. There we go. So they're kind of threaded on there, and you got a loop O beads. So like right there. Bingo bango. Set that aside. Stab myself. Could you take a marker and color the tag ends red so it gives a trout vibe? The tag ends? The tag ends of what? I don't understand. I'm going to go with no. Second, Gamakatsu 5/0 spinnerbait hook. This is another Willen thing. They don't bend out. They're fucking super sharp. I do pinch all my barbs on my Tiger Musky flies. Not for you guys. If you hook yourself, that's your problem. First couple of years, I was like, Jesus, take the wheel. We need those barbs on there. Then the second year I was fishing myself, one took it super deep in its gill. I fucking killed it. I still, that's probably one of the worst things I've ever felt in my life. I felt so fucking bad that I've pinched barbs ever since. And it has saved fish's lives out there for sure. Now, I know they're planted, so you may call them hatchery and they can't reproduce, but still, they're fucking badass looking and I don't want to kill them. So we've definitely had fish take flies deep now. I use jaw spreaders, get that little Loon tool, just barely grab it and just push down and it falls right out. The fish is fine. So, and God forbid you do hook yourself with one of these hooks, you want it to come out easy. The ones you cut and reverse tie, the ends that give you the gap. I mean, you could, but I don't want to. I mean, I put some red in this one, but it doesn't fucking matter. I like kind of the all white. Looks like a giant fluke. But you can do whatever you want. Trial and error. Then you get the beads. And you tie this bullshit in. And just make sure that that articulation has room to move. If it's got too much, it's going to foul. And if it doesn't have room, it's really stiff. So just, there's no like right amount I've found to be like, if you place it exactly here, you get the perfect action. I don't fucking know. Just eyeball it, man. And I also go underneath a couple times. It just helps to kind of lock it in, so to speak. And then with this stuff, about halfway I lift up. I give a couple wraps on top, a couple wraps under. It just kind of weaves it. And I think that helps it not pull out ever. And if you really want to go, you can go through the eye of the hook. I don't do that because I use 100-pound fluorocarbon. And I need the room for the line to go through there. But I do kind of wrap it around the hook a couple times going back. So you can do that, I guess. Oh, which way did this go? I go kind of opposite. Yeah, there we go. Just an extra added measure of lockness. And going back, same thing, under it. And over it. And again, that's why I really like that GSP. It's flat, so when I'm really pulling on this wire, I know it's not going to cut in there because it's wire, but it doesn't have an edge unless you spin it. And yeah, you know, whatever. About that much. All the way back. More Zap-A-Gap. Don't be shy with this stuff. That, more thread. And you should be good. Fish pull pretty hard though. I mean, they're big. They're not going to go on a crazy long run like steelhead or anything, but they're going to bury themselves down there and they will fold that 11 weight like it's nothing. So stuff to think about. Cool. Other thing that I really like about this thread, you can nick it on hooks and everything and just wire and it keeps going. Do you alternate hook points on that fly, one up and one down, or do you think it really matters? I don't, because it won't swim right. You want them both down. If one's up, it's going to turn the fly to the side, so don't do that. Not good. And then, you know, maybe some UV just because. In the back here, just really lock that shit in. They're hard enough to catch. The last thing you want is that to pull out and you're fucked. Okay. So that's going. More. This is where you could put a rattle in. I'm not going to put one in. I've caught a lot of those fish without a rattle. It's kind of cool. It does make it harder for people to cast. It's a little bit of extra weight, and it can affect the swim of it sometimes. I don't think that pink one had a rattle, so I'm going to go with no rattle. And you can do a little bit more flash and slinky here. We're kind of building the body up, so you know, just a little bit more. That's kind of a lot more. Whatever, we're going to go with it. See how that looks? That looks like shit. That looks better. I feel like I'm forgetting something. And this stuff we're going to go right off the bat with reverse tying because we want it to kind of pop up. This is kind of the beginning of the, that might be too long. Let's see. If it's like that and bends. Okay. You want that connection covered kind of just because it looks like shit if you don't, but you don't really want those beads covered too. Wow, these scissors are fucked. Get yourself a pair of good synthetic scissors because it'll really help. Like, look at that, just cutting through like butter. So lock that fucker in and then get a second piece. Taper it. Hopefully yours looks better than mine. Maybe a little bit shorter than the last one. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, a little shorter. Missy Elliott. Flip it and reverse it. Ow! Don't do that. Is that straight? Reefing it. Kind of wants to spin sometimes. Yeah, okay. Super fancy tool. All the way back. Get back there. Wow, okay. Looks too long. Old school. Make sure it's getting split kind of evenly out around that hook. Do it. Really? You gonna do that to me right now? You gonna do that? Fine. That. Oh, this is going well. Let me get my angers up. I think it needs to go forward a little bit more, to be honest. It looks too long. Now can I use my fancy tool? Get back there. There you go. All right, let's see what's going on here. I'll try to thread, damn it. I just forgot I was recording it. I spaced out and I just thought I was just tying in my basement for a second, so whatever that means. Okay, sometimes you gotta finger fuck it to get it where you want it. You know, like this shit's way over here. It's like, don't do that. Just fucking pull it over there. That's what I like about musky flies. You can really manhandle some shit. You're like, don't do that. You know? I wouldn't say finesse is a big part of it, which I appreciate. Now, you are going to hook the fuck out of your fingers a couple times doing this, but look, do you want to catch that musky or not? What's going on there? What is that? Oh, that's just material. Get. Come on. Ow! Back one now, huh? Okay, just do what I want. What's the time? Not good, 20 minutes? This isn't good. This one's really being a bitch. Where are we at? Yeah, I mean, I'm not hating it, but I'm not loving it. Okay, normally I don't double down, but this is a fucking thick bitch back here, so we're gonna need a little bit more. Like, right up against it, which I usually want to do. Holy cow, brother, you tie the flies, I'll just show up. Okay, good deal. Okay. That's good. We're going again. This one, I don't know if I'm going to reverse tie or just, I'm not. I'm just going to fucking lock it in right there because it needs more thickness. And we'll deal with the aftermath. So there, I want to spread that around with my thumbnail. Really reef on it. That's better. You don't want it too, you don't want it thick in the back and sparse in the front, I'll tell you that much. So don't be afraid to add a little bit if you need to like that. It's not going to be perfect all the time. Just trust your eyes. If like, you know, if you're following a YouTube tutorial and they're like, use this much, and you tie it in, you're like, that looks like shit. Do something different. Add more. Take some away or whatever, you know? I'm not even listening to my own shit right now. It just didn't look good. So we're going to fix it. That's why people are like, how many strands of flash of it? It's like, whatever looks good, dude. What does it look like? Or whatever. So there. Putting it on both sides of the hook does help. I will say that if you're going to follow any direction. Just reef it a little bit. That's looking better. Give me just a little bit more. Ow! Okay. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's fine. We're cooking. More Zap-A-Gap. Okay, now we're going to do a pretty big clump. And we're going to move forward a little bit to get that space. Okay, so just wheeling it to maybe there. Bigger clump. That's a pretty big clump. That's too big. It's too big a clump. That's pretty big even, but well, we'll see. It's got to be thick. Get that guy. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's a fucking disaster over here. Out of frame. It's bad. Okay. Spin to win. Kind of spread around that hook just a little. Yeah, that's nice. Get some more. You know, taper it. Sorry, this is a pretty boring Friday Night Flies. I can't read the shit that's on the screen. And I'm just not that angry at anything tonight. Everything's going pretty good. Besides Mother Nature fucking me with all this rain. But besides that, not too bad. Put that guy in. Yeah, she's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that looks all right. I think. What's happening here? Why you do that when you get over there? Mm-hmm. Just kind of pushing it back, and of course the thread wants to not do that. Is that going to be okay? What's this about? And this. Can I rotate it? No, not going to do that for me? Cool. Thread damming. Typically at the front of the fly, you want to do thread dams because if you tie actually on top of the materials, you'll never get a good, like it won't flare enough. The rear, you know, around that tail, you want it kind of flat. You don't want it crazy big. The front, you kind of want it to be crazy big. And like when it doesn't want to do shit, just make it. Just keep pulling and stretching and shoving and wrapping and gluing and just be like, this is happening, okay? You are going to turn into a musky fly. Pull some of it out even. Fuck it. Oh yeah, she's cooking. And that's what's nice about this stuff. Like later on, I'll get in here and just like fuck with this stuff back here till I get it to how I want. But it's just a big wad of breathy flash and slinky. Don't worry. It's going to look good. Okay, a little bit more. This you can get a little bit more, maybe just a little bit. Have you nymphed up any steelhead lately? Oh, that's funny. Jack's trying to bait me right now. You know, I've never, well, I can't say I've never done that. I have, years and years ago. I won't say with who. It was fun. It was fine. Just like doing other stuff now. So that's all. So this stuff you can, this way, it's just another way that people do it. And you just shove this whole clump directly onto the hook. Okay? Just get it and just shove that fucker over the whole thing. Get the long part on top. And that will kind of give you that full coverage without having to tie the top and the bottom on. And you get a nice little taper that's a little bit easier to manage there. Thread damming it. What do we got? 15? Dude, I think I'm going to do it. Famous last words. Yeah. Yeah, that's looking better. Just licking Zap-A-Gap off my fingers constantly. It's good. It's good for you. Whew, man, wish I could tie these all the time this fast. Usually I take a lot more time like looking at each piece and really figuring it out, but this is going to give you like a good idea of how to tie these flies if you choose to do so, which, depending on your state of mind, may or may not choose to do. Uh-oh, what's going on there? Okay. Get another chunk. Taper it. So, like I'm saying, it's not the hardest fly in the world to tie by any means. If you can tie materials just onto a hook, there's not any like complicated parts to it. Not really. It's just tie some on, reverse tie it, tie some on, reverse tie it, reverse tie it, reverse tie it, do this stuff. The more you do it, you'll get better at just like how long of, you know, materials you want on there, kind of how to control the taper. I mean, I can't tell you how many thousands and thousands of dollars I wasted on hooks and materials and shit to you know, trying to figure out how to tie these flies. I mean, yeah, I looked on YouTube and stuff like that, but I don't know, I'm just not that good, so it took me a long time. But whatever, what else are you doing with your life? It's fun. Just wig out, nerd out on stuff like this. And when you see a big old, you know, 4-foot fish come up and eat your shit, you're just like, yes, yes. Love that. Okay. Sick fly. Does it glide? Oh, it glide. Have you tried the new Arex Bob Popovich hooks? I haven't. I tried the new Bob Clouser hooks, which I really like, especially for redfish and some saltwater fish. I'm going to Mexico on the 24th. I want to try to catch a Dorado on fly. I don't really want to chum them up because that's not, I mean, whatever. I'm not trying to dog on anybody that does that, but I don't know how else you would catch one. Rooster fish would be cool too. I don't know. I just want to catch fish in Mexico where it's warm and I can eat tacos. So I got some game changer stuff and some other stuff, but the Tiger Muskie fishery is just so much fun in the summertime. Definitely, you know, it's weird that it's right up there with carp. Like, people would be like, carp, I want to fish for Tiger Muskie. Well, I don't know if you fish for carp yet then, because they're much harder to catch than a Tiger Muskie, I'll tell you that. You find the right muskie, they're going to eat whatever. They're going to just come out of their skin and eat it. The carp, they just spook so easy. It's just people can't get a cast to them a lot of the time. But they are fun. Come on, bro. Just, why you want to do that? So, yeah, we're going to use some other materials at the end here to kind of create that taper. And I think we're going to do that right now. Should I, or should I do one more? No, I'll put a pretty big head on this. You can. Do we have time? Yeah, we got time. If you want to church it up, you can get some hairline hen saddle to make some pec fins. I did that on that pink fly. And I just really want to have the same glide effect. So I'm going to do the same shit on this one. I'm using 3. You can use 2. Just don't use 1 because when they eat one of them off, your fly looks stupid. And you actually want these feathers to be a little bit longer than you'd think the pec fins need to be, because we're going to put a bunch of Senyos laser dub at the head here, and it's going to cover part of those guys where you think, oh, that seems like a pretty long pec fin. Well, when you cover it with a bunch of dubbing, it's not so long. And you can tie them in whichever way. I kind of tie them curved out. I don't know. I just do. I don't know if that makes a difference. I mean, in the water, they get smashed down anyways, so people are like, oh, they deflect water more that way. I don't know. Do they? I mean, when you're stripping them through, it seems like it's getting pretty smashed. But whatever makes you happy. So get your 3, kind of lay them on top, cut the bullshit, pull the bullshit, tie the bullshit. So like the curves that way, right? So I do it face out. You don't have to. I've tied them both ways. I don't know if it makes a difference. Swing out the sides. And you're right. Where's Apicap? Holy fuck-a-rolly. 8 minutes, man. We're getting down to the wire. And then just a shit ton of laser dub. Now here you can put some gills in there. I'm not gonna this time. I've got some ones with red gills. I don't think, like, if they eat this one, I'm like, that's it, it's the red gills, let's turn them off. Probably not, but just to be able to tell the difference in the flies when I pick them out of my box, honestly. And so, if you guys don't know this dumb trick, you just keep putting it on, pull it apart, put it on top. That way you get the longest possible Senyos dub, or any dubbing. And the trick here is everybody wants to break it in half. Don't do that. Take like a third of it, as long as it has a tie-in point, and pop that sucker in there. Spin to win. And the reason for that is that's how you get that longer, oh, that's super glue, that longer head. So it's not this little tiny short head up here. So you get it, pinch and pull, right? How's the winter musky fly fishing in Oregon, Washington? Non-existent. I mean, I've gone out there in November, never saw one. Everything I read, you know, those fish just go deep and dormant and just sit there. Now I know it's way different, you know, different parts of the world, whatever. I'm just saying, go try it, but I have not been able to do it. I would love to get, you know, live scope and go out there and snipe muskies in 40-foot water. You're not going to do it with a fly all winter long, but I just don't think so. I missed Charlie's question. Sorry, Charlie, I missed it. If you ask it again, I'll try to read it. So we got a clump on top, clump on the bottom. Pull it back, get a turn, pull the bottom part back, get a turn, kind of lock it in. We're going to get another one in there. Because why not? Uh-oh. Okay. Ooh, yeah, that looks nice. Okay. Here we go. Another clump. 6 minutes. Whatever. If I go over a little bit, it's not the end of the world. Okay, this wasn't the biggest clump as I wanted, so I'm going to tie it in the bottom first. If anything, you want the top part a little bit thicker. It just helps it to not roll and to kind of track better. So that's not going to be enough. I can already tell even for the bottom. That's not enough. That might be enough. Having a pretty, you know, thick head here is definitely something you want. Stuff with kind of a head that pushes a lot of water they really seem to like that. In my experience. If anybody's looking to go Tiger Musky fishing, get fucked. It's sold out. Just kidding. I think there's one day, 2 days maybe in there, but not more than that. Usually sells out a year in advance, and it's pretty limited days. I'm not going to go into when I fish them or whatever, but it makes a difference. So I will be up there. If you have interest, though, get at me and get one of the last days. Last year is pretty amazing. Each year we've hooked more fish. Last year I think I did 25 trips, and we never had a trip where we didn't at least have a fish eat the fly. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive. Although I talked to my buddy Cameron the other day. He's like, oh, we didn't get one, but I'm pretty sure it ate his fly. He trounced it. Maybe not, though. Remind me, Cameron, if you're watching, what happened. And then as far as carp fishing goes, that is sold out, except for the 4th of July. I don't know why. People are like, I got to go to a barbecue. Have fun. If you want to go chase carp on the 4th of July, it's great. People are like, oh, it's crowded. Yeah, some of the islands are, and the parking lot at different places can be. I think I have room for one more clump. But beginning of July is pretty goddamn prime time. Fish, I haven't beat the piss out of them yet, so they're pretty willing to eat shit. My dogs are barking at a squirrel or something up there. Oh, you're going to get them this time. When you going to come throw these for 8 and 10 pound large? I think whenever, man. Pre-spawn, post-spawn. Oh, was that when we went, Jeremiah? Was that the 4th of July when I took you and Pete out? Was it Pete? Yeah, it was. Yeah, so Jeremiah came out with me last year on the 4th of July. That's why I have it open, because he's in Bend doing his thing. Yeah, we got a double. He got a good night. Give it a rest. Thank you. We got a sweet double. He got a badass mirror carp. It had like no markings on it, not a single scale. It was rad. It even had some like weird red blush on it. So anyways, 4th of July, come get humbled. If it's your first time carp fishing, you're probably not going to catch one, but you'll see 100, and they'll all be tailing, and you will spook all of them. Okay? Cool. Last little clump. This is looking great. If I do say so myself, I only hooked myself 6 times. Oh no, I spun. Uh-oh, shit's going south. See, got cocky. Aha, there we go. Ow, 7 times. Okay, these are the last clumps. It's getting. I probably should have quit the last. I can squeeze it in there. So little trick here: when you get down to the very head, if you get just even 2 wraps around that hook, just pinch the eye of the hook and push back, and a lot of that stuff will. Don't slip though, because you will impale your finger. How do I know? And that just gives you enough room to just get that that thread in there, spin it to give it an edge, and it kind of makes it narrow. Where'd that go? Come on, man. There we go. Whip it. Oh, fuck. Maybe we'll give it one more. That got kind of weird on it. And then we're going to brush the shit out of it too, but I want to whip finish it just one more time. That is a thick ass head. And that's why you pack so much of it, because a lot of it's going to come out. It's like brushing your dog. You're going to get some hair out. Oh, this is the old one. The new Loon ones hurt when you grab them. That's when you know it's working. Yeah, that's spiky. Ow! That's how you know it's working. So, try that again. And then I've caught a lot of them without why in the fuck? Where is all this shit coming from? I've caught a lot of them without eyes. I don't think it makes a difference. I was convinced that if it had eyes, they wouldn't eat it for about 2 years. I'm like, oh, they know it's fake. I'm fucking stupid. They don't care. Kind of looks cool with the eyes. Get a little zap in there. I kind of like SolarRex, but I want that thread to seal in there. Like so. 801. Shit. So close. That's it. Got some pec fins. I'm gonna really get in there and do some work. So don't feel bad about just raking this thing crazy, because if it comes out, it comes out. It's gonna come out when that fish chomps on it. So you might as well get all the loose bullshit out of there first. If you tied it in correctly, most of it should stay. But it also just makes it look better. It's not so clumpy dumpy. Ooh, that was a good one. And you could, take scissors and, if you want to have more of kind of arrowhead, or you want it tall and thin, that will, they say that'll tend to make it glide. I don't really fuck with them until it's hit the water, because you never really know how it's gonna look until you fish it. You might have a different stripping technique than I do, or your buddy, but I like that. I think it's pretty nice. And I'll probably fuck around with this thing a bunch until I get it exactly how I want it. But yeah, I don't want to hug myself. That's looking pretty good. So you got the pec fins there that stick out the sides like that. See the dubbing kind of comes over the top. Bunch of flash and slinky. I'll probably trim this a little bit, or keep pulling it or whatever. But pretty good size fly. We throw 11 weights to these fish. Get this fucking thing out of here. Oh, man. Exhausted. So we're throwing 11 weights. That Loomis IMX Pro 11. Yes, blah, blah, I'm a Loomis guy, but it's the musky rod. There's a bunch out there. Echo makes a good one. Blaine's Blitz rod, musky rod, good one. Something about the Loomis rod. Like, if you can really cast a single hand, you can fucking step on that thing hard. And it's gonna, it just throws further than any. It may not be like the lightest rod compared to like an Echo or a Blitz or something, but this is a full contact sport. Nobody said it's gonna be easy. If you're like, I don't know, these flies weigh a lot, or this casting hurts my arm, I get it. But, don't call me, because I don't want to hear it on the water. I want to see these fish, I want to see them. So let's get them. And I got a lot of guys that they're fucking champs. The list of guys that have been going with me the last few years, they're as nuts about these fish as I am, and they don't give a fuck. They came to get beat up. They've got gloves ready, stripping shit. Everybody's, we're eating protein packs and Red Bulls and all sorts of stuff, because you get tired. But that rod, the thing about that I've found with those fish is that the further you can get that fly away from the boat, the better. Because The fish that don't absolutely come out and crush it right off the bat, they like to track shit for a while. I used to think you couldn't get them on the figure 8. We got 2 on it last year, but ours is a little different. It's not a figure 8. You might be able to get them on that, but they like a big oval, and you'd have to be in the boat to kind of show you how I set it up. But seeing that last year, I think Kendrick got one, and I forget who else got one, but it was rad. I mean, right at the boat, just crushed it. That's going to get your blood pumping. So they're I mean, I wish the season was all year long, but they just get wise. By like September and October, Sturs and I have beat the absolute piss out of these fish, and they get pretty gun shy. That's when I start breaking out some of the funky flies that I don't throw at the beginning, and you know, we try to see if we can get them to commit. But I'll probably throw eyes on this guy later. I like the taper. You know, I'll probably tweak this a little bit because it's wanting to turn a little bit. But the thing about it is having that keel back there, see it? The 0.20, that weight is what causes it to glide, because you strip and this thing just it comes this way. It's like you kick it, it's like, hey-o, check my tail. And then you strip and it's like, shoot. A lot of side profile. They're just such a cool fish to chase. And I use my power boat with the pulling platform like I do for carp fishing. So I'm up like 12, 15 feet in the air. So I can see fish like behind rocks, right on the bank. I mean, that gives us a really big advantage, I would say. I don't see anybody else doing that. It kind of was a happy accident. I'm like, well, I got the pulling platform. I might as well stand up there. And it's like, it really allows you to spot the fish from far away. You know, you're coming up on a tree or wherever, and I'm like, okay, there's definitely a fish on the middle branch looking right. My guys can't see it yet because they're down low. And so we can kind of put the boat in a perfect position to how I like to lead them and how far I like to lead them. And a lot of the time, those fish come out and eat that fly. And having that advantage is big, I think. We don't fish 2 guys one at a time, or we don't fish them 2 at a time, excuse me, 1 at a time. So it's a full team effort. The other guy's usually standing on the jump seat looking for fish too. Everybody's watching what happens. Everybody's real quiet when it's going on, and then just full chaos when that fish eats, and I'm jumping down, getting for the net, and it's just, I mean, I scream and yell and go nuts louder and crazier for Tiger Muskies than any fish I've ever seen anybody hook. And it never gets old. I just fucking lose my shit. It's such a big accomplishment. So anyways, that's it. That's the yard sale. That one's definitely going to get some water time this year. Tie it. Check it out. I'll have a full materials list on the YouTube version that'll be up by Sunday afternoon at the latest, maybe Saturday night. So if you want to go through it, check it out, go for it. If you need shit, hit the shop up. Like I said, we're doing the pre-party for the Fly Fishing Film Tour February 17th at the shop, 3 to 5, BYOB contest, providing food, blah, 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 whatever. If you want that last carp date, it's 4th of July, hit me up. I'm going to open my books up to September for carp. We'll see. Last year the water got really low, but we still made to make it work for half of September. The year before, it stayed great, and we fished them all the way till October 4th. So it's all what happens. There's a little tiny piece of dirt in here. It's been driving me crazy. Get out of there. Got it. Now it's okay. Oh, it ended up back here. Anyways, enough with that. 8:08, we did it, everybody. See you next Friday. I don't know what I'm going to tie. Just tune in, check it out. Till then, later.